Four Downs with Rich.
Here we go.
Okay,
What do we got?
now that we have turned the page from week 7 to week 8,
First down.
now that we have turned that page, I'd like to welcome back to the National Football League front and center a team that isn't in the playoffs just yet, a team that is in the news because of the maneuver they made at their quarterback spot prior to their bye week. I'd like to welcome the Miami Dolphins back to front and center because they are in great shape. Great shape. I know Ryan Fitzpatrick is brokenhearted, and that gutted me when I heard all that. But he is a lead pipe wielding professional when it all comes down to it. I would be surprised to hear if there is a problem in that locker room because of him losing his job. Tua is going to come out, and I know the Rams are in front of him, and I just talked about how difficult the defense it is, and it may not look good in the first start, and then they may fall to 3-4, but I proffer to say this. With the 7th seed sitting out there in 2020, the Dolphins are not out of it, even if they lose this week. Tua is going to get better each and every week, and the reason why that they're set up is they have the first and second round picks in next year's draft of the one-win Houston Texans. I cannot believe that here we got a team that's going to start Tua, that's going to give him the reps that he needs in real live action, still have an opportunity to not only make the playoffs but potentially win the division. And in their back pocket, they've got 2 draft choices in the first round next year and 2 draft choices in the second round next year. And the higher of the draft choices that they're going to have are not their own. It's the Houston Texans, both of them given up by Bill O'Brien in that trade for Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills prior to last season when they gave up 2 1s and a 2. And one of the 1s and the 2 is about to be cashed in by a team that could make the playoffs this year with Tua Tagovailoa getting better every week. The Dolphins are in great shape, which brings me to second down here.
Second down.
What did I say about DeAndre Hopkins, Chris, about how incredible he is? It's time to revisit this. How in the hell did the Texans not get a first-round pick for DeAndre Hopkins?
Right.
How did that happen?
Bill O'Brien?
His catch radius is 1 million miles wide. I say this, and you know how much I love Kyler Murray. You know how I came off of last season after the Super Bowl in my 4th down hot take at the time. It was a hot take at the time that he would finish in the top 3 in the
Super
MVP voting in 2020.
Super hot take.
He had just collected the Offensive Rookie of the Year award at the NFL Honors. And I looked over the steering wheel and I thought he's poised to take a monster next step similar to Lamar Jackson's. Why not? And then DeAndre Hopkins showed up for a 2. A 2. I don't think the Cardinals would be 5-2 this year if DeAndre wasn't there. If they were going into it with Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald and Andy Isabella being the guys, DeAndre Hopkins changes the dynamic entirely. And then changes it entirely for Deshaun Watson, too. I don't care how many passing yards Deshaun Watson has this year. That's not the metric. The metric is the growth, the maturation, the yards, and the W's. Again, he's 27. He's at the top of his game. He is incredible. He's game-changing for everybody. The defense, the offense, everybody. How the hell did they not at least get a 1 back for him? Did they not shop him around? Literally need to know the answer to this question.
Yeah, leads the NFL in receptions,
Get out of here.
targets, yards, and first downs on
How
receptions.
do you not get a 1 back for him when you have given your 1 away? You get a 2? For a 27-year-old wide receiver that if you threw him out to the entire pool of the NFL, you create a market in a way that you, I guess, didn't want to put it out there just in case the trade didn't work? I can't believe it. Third down here on the Rich Eisen Show, post-week 7. Everybody needs to get ready. Steel yourselves, if you will, in the NFC. Get ready for some NFC playoff seeding outrage, people. Because one of those teams on the screen, most likely, could be your defending NFC champion 49ers. I don't know, because the Rams have yet to play the Cardinals or the Seahawks. How about them apples? And the Seahawks are about to start their first of two with San Francisco. The NFC West is about to start picking each other off. So I know we're talking here about all four teams in the NFC West having an opportunity to maybe make the playoffs this year. You got a 5-win Bears team. Whoever doesn't win the NFC North is going to be in a position to make one in terms of a wild card spot. The Saints are currently sniffing it at 4-2. I mean, that's how competitive a 7 seed's going to be. So most likely, somebody is going to be sitting at home from the NFC West with 10 wins. Is it possible 11 wins? While the NFC East champion hosts a playoff game with 6 or 7 wins. And that might be generous because your current leader at 2-4-1, Doug Peterson, again, going to join us in about 20 minutes' time. They have, as you know, a 2-4-1 record. That leaves them 9 games to go. In order to have 7 wins, they have to finish above 500. Somebody's going to have to finish above 500. Whoever has 2 wins currently in the NFC East through 7 games is going to have 5 wins over the next 9 in order to win this division with 7 wins. Somebody's going to win this division with 6 wins, people. And somebody from the NFC West is going to go home with 10 or 11. So just prepare yourselves for that to happen. And everyone at the competition committee, prepare yourselves for the hue and cry that's going to be descending upon next year's membership meeting about you got to do something about the playoff seeding. Here comes 4th down.
Oh baby, yeah. Mike, here we go.
4th down.
4th down. I know you were struggling, but I am pumped for this 4th down.
I was struggling on it earlier on.
And I think I know where you're going.
Well, it's based on the conversation that we all had yesterday, and I know it might be a hot take to sit here and say the Patriots 7 games into an NFL season or 7 weeks into an NFL season and just 6 games in with a trade deadline coming up 1 week from today, they have to consider pulling the plug. Do they have the ability to make a big, huge run? And certainly, if you're going to try and you just fall flat and miss the playoffs, trying as hard as you can, and I know they don't care about this sort of PR thing, and I'm sure Belichick would just laugh it off.
Right.
But with Brady going on a run, if you basically pull the plug right now and say, Uncle, we're going to trade off our parts and pieces and get better right now, it makes sense to do. And you know Dallas can't quit the season. You're already hearing Jerry Jones be so upset about what's going on, and he's upset about any of the questions about leadership and the coaches. Put Cam on the block. Call Jerry Jones up and say, what do you need? And trade Cam to the Dallas Cowboys.
Woo, baby.
And see what Cam can do in the position that Dak was in. Andy Dalton showed he wasn't the answer. And Ben DiNucci, with all due respect to James Madison University, I don't expect to be either. It's amazing how quickly things change in the NFL. After 3 weeks, we're sitting here saying the Patriots should sign Cam long term because he deserves it. And look who has showed up. And then he got COVID. He says he's fine. But since that all happened, it looks awful. Yeah. It looks like that they can't do anything, right? And I'm wondering why this wouldn't be a fit. Because you know Dallas isn't going to sit there and go, we've got cap problems. We've got issues at the cap. And I know that we're hearing like Everson Griffin's available or whatever, but I'm not taking that as to mean that they're giving up. I'm taking that to mean as they know that the defense that's being run, it ain't working. So let's get some parts and some pieces and maybe fix our cap issue in the future, but still try to win right now with who we got. Cam would be the answer, wouldn't it?
And we know it wouldn't cost Dallas much. Probably a low-round draft pick. And you got to remember, Cam's on a very friendly deal. Less than $1 million bucks.
Go for it. And see what you got in Stidham and rip the knob off that you were expecting to do going into June.
Right.
When you called Cam up and said, how'd you like to come to New England on this team-friendly contract?
Right. They were ready for it to be the Stidham era this year anyway. And then Cam
now that you've tried and you have seen it, and you're now 2-4, and I think, again, Buffalo's ready to let 20 years of frustration out.
Yeah, it could get pretty ugly on Sunday.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then there'd be 2 days to the trade deadline. That's my 4 downs.
Love it.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.